In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how I find leads, how I scrape them, how I enrich them, how I do my AI personalization. I'm going to also show you exactly how the AI personalization looks like at scale before sending all the emails and ultimately pushing it into the software. So here I'm walking through my backend automations, my front end of what I do manually, and basically showing you what I do with hands off. So everything starts off by firstly acquiring the lead list. This is still a manual task. I haven't been able to automate this how much I'd like to. As of this example, I'm going to show you a campaign towards recruitment agency within staffing and recruitment, as you can see here. If you're not familiar with this database or this tool, this is called Apollo.io, and it's one of the biggest up-to-date software when it comes to B2B contact information. And here you can access their email, their website, their company, basically all the information you need to do an initial trial of contact with them to try to approach them. So what I've done here is on the left-hand side, I filled out all my very generic basic qualifications when it comes to what type of person I want to contact. Is it a C-suite? Is it a founder? Well, yes, these type of guys or girls most likely to make decisions. I only want to reach out to decision makers. Where's the location? Only within the United States. The employees, well, between 5 and 50, due to the reason that within that bracket, they usually kind of semi-established and have the funds needed in order to invest in their scale. Like they can afford to pay for services so they get more business. If it's a self-employed, you never truly know, as of previous experience. So that's why I like to target these niches, these headcounts, and ideally email verified. I will also do a double verification later, which I'll show you. But at the bigger picture here, now we have a lead list of 6,300 leads. Okay, what do we do then? Well, first, we have this AI automations doing the Apollo scraping. And I'm going to show you exactly what happens in my CRM before we move into this. I'm going to pause my screen. And here it is. So I take the URL from Apollo. I place it here within my Airtable. This is my CRM Airtable. And I press this box. I've created an automation. So when I press this box, this webhook from this automation triggers. And what happens here is it collects the URL and decides the start page. Let's say you have a very long lead list and you only want to try before you go very hardcore and launch the full list. That's why you decide the start page. Otherwise, you scrape all the 6,300 leads in one go, and perhaps there'll be some errors in your automation you wouldn't possibly know for sure. So that's why you choose the start page. Then you search up the people on Apollo so you truly see them within the URL that you've attached. And then you clean them and search more and chunk it into pieces so it doesn't become a very big list being processed at an instant, because it needs to look like semi-humane, but also all the tools within it needs to comply with one another. And ultimately, when that's done, it adds the list to the CRM. So basically, I get the URL from Apollo, I press the button, and then it enriches all the leads into the CRM. And how that looks, going back to the Apollo. So I get the URL, press this, then the automation I just showed you fires, and all the leads ends up here. And as you can see right now, the next step is already pre-filled because I went through this before the video to show you or to demonstrate how it works. And I'll walk you through why some say cold and why some say not qualified. So the next step is pressing the checking box for the leads, and that you can do on a one-person note, or you can bulk enhance them. And what happens then is first you pull the leads from the Airtable, you validate the email. So despite choosing validation of email within Apollo, I do it again through a tool called Neverbounce. It's the most cheapest one, and you want to send to high qualified authorized emails due to otherwise you end up in the junk folder. And I never heard someone doing business from the junk folder, but that's what I do with it. If the email is not verified for whatever reason from this tool, it gets then tagged as not qualified, as you saw in the list before. We move forward to scraping their LinkedIn, so we get even more information from that. And why we have a remove HTML parser is due to we only want to send a very smallest amount of data needed into our OpenAI that analyzes the company profile that we scraped here. Why we have that is because otherwise we will send more data, and when you have more data sent over, it costs more tokens. And we want to stay as lean and as cheap as possible by running this business. Secondly, next qualifications, is it a B2B? Yes or no? But we can't help B2C companies. So now the analysis, it checks. Is it a B2B company? Yes. If it's yes, then we move up. If not, it's unqualified, as you saw in this theorem. Is the headcount between 5 and 50? Same thing goes. If it's not, unqualified. If it is, we move forward. Then we analyze the company again. We check out the company profile and start to analyze some personal information that I pre-prompted here. So we get more into the details as what does this company truly doing, despite being, or not despite, it operates within the staffing and recruitment industry. We need to see and we need to find out more about exactly who they're helping within staffing and recruiting. So then we scrape their homepage as well. And here we start to remove all the HTML. Same reason as before, we want to send the smallest amount of data that gives us the biggest result by having such a slim token spendage as possible. Otherwise, it will be still very cheap, but it will cost more, and we don't want it to cost more for no obvious reasons. Hence, the parsing. We move forward to, are we unable to scrape their website because we want to understand what they do, how they do, they have any case studies on websites and forward. If that is not the case, if it's unable, if that's true, then we move up here and basically push them into a campaign that we run. And why we push them here to the campaign and not qualifying them even further is due to reason we want to leverage all leads that we possibly can. We don't want a lead that's still qualified to fall between the cracks for, well, not being able to scrape the website, because we can still send out a semi-generic template that has some sort of personalization. But ideally, we want to be able to scrape the website, so it moves down here on the right-hand side. And what happens here, there's looks pretty much similar, like back and forth, but here we analyze their company mission. For example, do they have any values they lean on? What's their offers? Do they have any offer? Do they have an offer to the market? Are they established within the go-to-market strategy? Do they have anything that different themselves compared to the other? Do they have any USP? Or do they have any case studies seen as this one? And then obviously clean the company name, because you don't want to send hello Apple LLC dot. That's super spammed. It won't work because it's super obvious that it's kind of just templatized and copy from page to another. So as of this full workflow that goes like a skiing slope, you have all the information about the company, all the information about their what they do, how they do it, case studies, values, website, profile, LinkedIn profile, sorry, and then we push them into the campaign. And how that looks when you push them into a campaign is something like this. And this is a campaign I've been running for a week. Let's see here. Okay, so as you can see here, these curly brackets are everything from the personalization node previously from the workflow, meaning each lead that has processed the skiing slope will have some sort of dynamic variable as within this field, meaning if person A received this email, it's going to look different than person B because we have done an individual AI personalization at scale. So if I preview this, if we go for here, this is Michelle. So he's digital health and recruiting with VC back in health tech, and she helps them with hiring proven C-suites fast. That's their company value, company mission, their pain point that they solve. And if we check someone else, let's take someone random, Jeff. He helps IT staffing firm with IT security leaders struggling to fill cloud cyber. So you see, it's very pinpoint, it's very direct, it's laser targeting, because you're sending an email to the staffing and recruitment, which is the industry, to say, yeah, we're staffing and recruitment, and then nothing else. That wouldn't come off as personalized, as someone who's done their due diligence, because as of here, sending this email, like doing that manually, would take, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 minutes from sending one email. And as you saw, we got 6,300 emails from Apollo starting out and qualified all of them at an instant. So this is how I scrape the leads, how I enrich them, how I qualify them, how I then do my personal outreach message to them, and basically how I send it through instantly the tool. I hope you found this valuable. If you want to learn more, you can check out the AI profit document down below, sorry. Or if you want it implemented into your business, you can book a call.